The goal of this portion of Dvarim is to attain the understanding, the vision of how to transform the greatest darkness into light. When was the first time that light diminished or that light became darkness? It says that at the time of creation, when the sun and the moon, the forces that not only physically but spiritually bring light into our physical world, were created, the sun was even greater than we're experiencing it today, and the moon was at the same size as the sun. The moon said to the Creator, there cannot be two kings with one crown. In other words, it didn't make sense that the sun and the moon should be equal in power. Then it says in the Midrash that the Creator told the moon, go and diminish yourself, make yourself smaller. And from that moment onward, humanity and every one of us, through our connection to the moon, moves between states of light and states of diminishment, of darkness. That is the beginning of the book of Dvarim, Deuteronomy, which we are now beginning, represents the moon. And from the 10 luminous emanations, the level called Malchut. It represents that force which was diminished. And we too are children of Malchut. We receive our light through it and are therefore completely influenced by the process of the moon. The process of the moon is the process of humanity. It is not a coincidence that just before 9th of Av, we connect to the book of Dvarim, which explains the secret of humanity. So the Creator tells the moon, go and diminish yourself, you must make yourself smaller. But that is only the beginning of the process. We know that Rosh Chodesh New Moon is also called Moed, a holiday. Why? Because the ultimate purpose of the moon, the ultimate purpose of every one of us, is not to remain in a state of diminishment, not to remain in a state of go and diminish yourself, not to remain small. Rather, as it's written, and the light of the moon shall be like the light of the sun. This is the state of Messiah. The moon will become the same size and shine with the same intensity as the sun. Every month that begins, we see it as the potential for the time of Messiah, the time when pain, suffering, and death come to an end. It means that after the 15th of the month, the moon would no longer begin the process of diminishing. Instead, it would continue to grow into the 16th, 17th, 18th, and beyond until by the end of the month, and the light of the moon shall be like the light of the sun. The size and intensity of the light that comes from the moon will shine and be just as strong as the sun. And of course, what that means is that we know that we experience the light of the moon only at night. This means that the light of the night will shine exactly like the day. The day represents the time when everything happens. Usually during the day we experience joy and blessings, while the night represents the time of pain, darkness, and lack. The goal is that the light of the moon will become like the light of the sun, so that there will no longer be experiences of lack, only light. Our consciousness should be that the moon will not stop growing and begin to diminish after the 15th. And Michael Berg explains that if enough people do not think this way, it may not happen. There is a verse, it shines brighter and brighter until the perfect day. This can become the time when the light shines more and more and more until everything is like day. Everything is blessings, everything is light. Why does it grow until the 15th and then begin to decline? Until there are 24 hours at the end of the month where there is absolutely no moonlight, until the beginning of the next month when it starts to shine again just a little. But there must be 24 hours of complete absence, complete lack. Why is it that way? This is also the secret of why we must experience darkness, and more importantly understand that the worst days of our lives, the darkest ones, when we experience the greatest concealment, just as 9th of Av, the most negative day of the year, is also the day on which suffering, affliction, and death will come to an end and become the happiest day of the year. Why is that the greatest darkness, the greatest pain, can become the only source of the greatest light? Rav Ashlag often uses the phrase, absence must precede existence. There must be complete absence, not a little, not partial, not even a great deal of a lack, but complete absence. Why must there be complete absence before there can be any light? If a person still has some light, like the process of the moon throughout the month, if even a little light remains, it means that it is still connected to the past, and the future can only be a version of the past. Perhaps a little better, or God forbid, a little worse, but it's still connected to the past in some way. If we didn't have a state of complete absence, if the moon did not go through a state of total lack before the new month begins, then the new month would never have the possibility of ending pain, suffering, and death, because it would simply be a continuation of the past. The only way for every month to have the possibility of being completely different is if there is absolutely no connection to the previous month. If there is complete absence, complete lack, then the light can shine as something entirely new that has never existed before. This is the secret of darkness. This is the secret of pain. Most of us appreciate the light after going through darkness. But while we are in the darkness, we do not want it. However, when we understand that pain or complete lack can bring Messiah and remove pain, suffering, affliction, and even death, we begin to appreciate even great darkness. The Kabbalists explain that the only reason 9th of Av can become the seed of Messiah, the seed that removes death from the world, is because it is historically the day of complete absence, the day of total lack.
If you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Book now with me one-to-one session in angel coaching and communication coaching. To learn more, email or DM me. Enjoy the video.
Total lack. And only from complete absence can something entirely new emerge. If there is any light within the darkness, any memory of the past within the darkness, it cannot lead to something truly new. It can only lead to a slightly better version of the past. Therefore, Rabbi Isaac Luria reminds us that Messiah was born on 9th of Av. Why? Because 9th of Av represents the most negative day, the day of greatest lack. And therefore, it is the only point in the year from which something completely new and different, a reality without pain or death, can emerge, because there is no connection to the past. It is completely devoid of light, and therefore a completely new light can come from it. And of course, it's not a coincidence our teacher Karen Berg Souls decided to leave this world on this day. That is why this portion is also one of the strongest. The Ohev Israel, Rabbi Avraham Yoshua of Apta, says that this is one of the most powerful Shabbat of the year. Why? Because we come face to face with the secret of complete lack, complete darkness. Why does darkness exist? Why does pain exist? Rav Ashlag always repeats the phrase, if it were not necessary, it would not exist. So why does darkness exist? Why does pain exist? For one reason only, to make room for the place of Messiah. And that place cannot be born except from a place of great darkness and great pain. Because that darkness represents the possibility of a completely new beginning, a reality in which pain, suffering, and affliction no longer exist. This Shabbat is called Shabbat Chazon, meaning vision. Ultimately, what is the true vision? True vision is to understand darkness, to understand pain, to understand lack. Not small lack, but complete lack. Life is filled with days that we enjoy, but we need to understand that days like those cannot become the seed of Messiah. They cannot become the place from which everything changes. The only place that contains the possibility for everything to change is the day of complete absence, complete lack. The moments when we experience darkness and pain, we need to understand that those are the moments, those are the hours when we are most likely touching the light of Messiah. That is the awakening we seek. Messiah will not come because the light we are experiencing now simply grows bigger and bigger. That is why the moon cannot continue growing if any part of the previous month remains. There must be 24 hours of complete lack, of complete absence, leading to the possibility that the coming month will be the month of Messiah, the month when all suffering, affliction, and death come to an end. The same is true in our daily lives. When we understand that it is precisely those moments of lack and pain that hold within them the potential and the possibility to draw forth a completely new reality without death, it allows us to appreciate absence. It allows us to understand that darkness is the seed of all light. That is the power of the Zohar and Kabbalah. That is the power of the Kabbalist. Not only to appreciate the light, the power of the Kabbalist is to appreciate the darkness. It is a completely different understanding of what darkness truly is. There is a verse in Psalms, even the darkness is not dark to you, and the night shines like the day. Darkness is as light. It is recommended to repeat this verse again and again. Darkness will not be dark for you, and the night will shine like the day. Darkness will be like light. You will no longer experience darkness as something negative or dark. You will appreciate darkness exactly as you appreciate the light. this must be the process we go through in order to prepare ourselves for Messiah, in order to prepare ourselves for the light of the complete removal of suffering, affliction, and death. Until enough of us individually and collectively appreciate the necessity of darkness, as Rav Ashlag said, if it were not necessary, it would not exist. When Messiah comes, we will look back and understand that those days when we felt terrible, when we felt complete lack, when actually those days our soul touched the seed of Messiah, those were the days when we began to draw the light of complete removal of pain, suffering, and death. This must be the process in order to allow the day, the month, to begin bringing an end to suffering and affliction. Why did Karen Berg live on 9th of Av? It's written in the prophets that the days of darkness will become days of light. And the greatest the darkness, the greater the light. For those who walk the path of Rav and Karen, of the center, for us, 9th of Av is a different kind of a day. It is the day when the light of Messiah begins to shine. Because our understanding changes. The greatest absence, the greatest darkness becomes the seed of something completely new. The complete removal of suffering and affliction. To the degree that we are able to understand what darkness truly is, to that same degree, we either allow ourselves or, God forbid, fail to prepare for that light. And that is the work of this coming Shabbat. The Kabbalists also explain that a phrase that continues to appear in the Zohar again and again and again, usually when it begins to reveal a secret or reveal light, it says tachazei, come and see. Because the Zohar is the most powerful tool we have to attain a true vision of darkness, a vision and appreciation of why darkness exists, why absence exists. Without the Zohar, it's probably impossible to transform, as we have learned. But even more importantly, when we connect to the Zohar, we need to understand why. The entire wisdom of Kabbalah, and certainly the purpose of the Zohar, is to give us the power to understand darkness, to appreciate darkness, to appreciate absence, and then, and only then, and this is a promise, even the darkness is not dark to you, and the night shines like the day. Darkness is as light. What feels like darkness to other people will feel to us even more amazing than the light of day. That is why to read this portion before 9th of Av is so important. To appreciate light and blessings is one thing, but that cannot lead to Messiah. It cannot lead to something completely new. The only way to lead to something completely new, when what existed before has been completely nullified, completely absent, completely dark. The only place where Messiah can be born, Messiah was born on 9th of Av, meaning it is the only day from which unlimited light and the complete removal of suffering, affliction, and death can be drawn. In those moments, in our own lives of lack and pain, when it happens this week, catch it, appreciate that moment, and know that only in that moment can you touch the light of eternal life. It is only in that moment that you can touch the light of Messiah. It's not easy to do, of course, and we all want to enjoy the light, but we need to know that lack is the only place where we can touch Messiah. When enough of us begin to see darkness in this way, that darkness is even greater than light. This is the work required to awaken the light that removes death. With this portion, we ask for the vision to see that. With other portions, we can draw incredible light, but Messiah cannot come from that. Another terrible day and another one, and if you do the work, then darkness maybe disappear a little bit, but it's not as light. We need to completely transform our vision, because that is where Messiah is found, and that is where an entirely new beginning starts.